Subaru Outback 3.6R. Well, here it is, my friends. The radio is out of the car. Reason being that the radio stopped working. So I think it stopped working a few months back. What was happening is that the speakers in the back stopped working, because I would notice that they would come on and off, and the sound quality wasn't that good, because the sound system is decent. I mean, it's not bad. It's not a real powerful radio, but there's enough speakers. I think there's some in the back, and there could be 6 or 8 speaker system, which it sounded okay, So by taking out the head unit, which was the GPS, and this was the radio controls. Now the GPS was touchscreen with DVD driven, so the car came with 3 DVDs. And luckily, when the radio came out, the clock functions on its own. So I don't have to worry about the clock working off the system, off the radio system, which I thought it did. And the miles per gallon computer part works on its own. So now I don't have to worry about that, because I was thinking that if I put in another radio, like an aftermarket, I would lose the function of the radio and the miles per gallon and all that, and then that wouldn't have been good. Then I would have been forced to go get a 2012 radio, and they are expensive. The cheapest one I found was in Brooklyn, and the guy in the junkyard wanted $250, but no warranty, and there was no way of testing it if it worked. And the car was in radio, is a double DIN radio without the radio on the bottom. So the double DIN radio is going to take up all that room in that space. So what am I going to do to fill up this space? So the guy at the shop recommended that I put in the radio, and it would just be like a dead radio. But I have a better idea. What I'm going to do is, I've seen them on eBay, or if I can get one from the junkyard, it would be better. I'd probably get it for nothing. I can get this plastic piece here from a premium, or a car without the navigation. So what it would be is a double DIN radio with the compartment here, which I would love, because I had that in my Subaru Legacy, and that was great. And that's what I'm going to do. I mean, if the guy can't fix my radio and put it back in the car, then I'm going to have to get a new radio. So I'm going to use my Alpine, which is GPS, Bluetooth, all of that good stuff. And I'm just going to put that in there, because I'm not going to go out and buy another radio that, that may break again. There's no point. And it's going to cost me more money to go out and buy that radio, because they're far few in between. And then the cheapest one from a 2012 that I found was online somewhere, and they wanted $350 plus shipping. So that's I'm going to try to find one of these pieces that from a premium radio without navigation, that has the compartment here, and just put my radio in there. Screen diagonally, it's all touch screen. It has this button here. This opens this. There's a DVD in there. This is the volume. There's volume on here. I'll show it to you once it's all installed. It has all these inputs in the back. All these RCA cables, all these cool inputs that I can use. This, I guess, for the antenna. This is for video in. This is for the auxiliary. I'm going to put the auxiliary right back here. Then I can just plug my phone in, like that. That's how the auxiliary works. It works on a wire, and it has its own amp. in the Porsche I had like an Alpine amp in it, which cost like $400. You know, which really kicked the power up. And this radio also has a remote control. This is a really good radio. I mean, the GPS was sort of like a TomTom type based GPS, and it worked really well. You know, it worked pretty good. And the way you update the GPS maps is through US SD card. So what I had to do is, in order to have this radio installed, I had to buy a new wiring harness, which is right here. And this was like $12. So this is going to go in the back of the radio. They're going to splice these wires and they're going to connect it to the car. The other thing I had to buy was I had to buy a new antenna. This was like $9. You know, I bought this all on eBay, quick shipping. I think I ordered it like Thursday and it came today. And I had a microphone. My car has the same dash cover, but in my car had a radio. The radio installer suggested that I leave mine and just put the radio back, but there's no point in that. I mean, I didn't want a dead radio, so I went on eBay and I bought this for $25 with $15 shipping. So for $40, I mean, this was a great buy. And now I have another compartment, just like I had it in my Legacy. You know, I had the Limited, but without the. Sorry about the focus in and out. You know, I had the Legacy, you know, without the GPS, so it had this thing, and I'm happy with that. I really didn't like the radio and the screen up here. I always miss this compartment. That it's really good. And then under here goes the digital remote control, the digital climate control. Finished product. This is the radio that I had installed in the car. I had this radio for a long time, and I put it to good use. This is the old radio that was in the Outback. As you can see, that's what failed, was that part there. The monitor was still good. It's still good, and it works. And monitor or on my phone itself. And I think the car actually looks better now. It's going to draw less power because that radio is not going to draw power to the radio and to the monitor. So the car's going to draw less power because it's only going to draw power off the radio, and the amp is not drawing any power either. So less power, better for the alternator. It's not going to work as hard. And I mean, this radio's pretty good. I mean, here you open it here. You know, the DVD's in there. It has a micro SD. I could put movies on there, whatever I want. I'm not sure if it even plays movies, but it is DVD, so you can, and I have put a movie in there. The guy installed a switch, so I can use it while I'm driving. You know, like I can change things on my GPS and go back and forth while I'm driving. And the other thing that I really love about it is that I was able to gain this nice cubby hole, so I can put my remote control in there. You know, I can put, you know, things in there, my wallet and stuff like that. Now I can put it in there and close it, and voila. You know, here was the old setup. So the radio was actually, you know, looked like that. You know, that was the old cover for the radio, because that radio had to be underneath there along with the climate control. And you know, that's the way it came out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go home, look online, see if I can find that part to fully operational control here. You know, where I can pick up the phone, hang up the phone, maybe use voice command. I don't know about that. Mode, volume up and down, you know, change stuff like that. But mainly, I mean, I could do without it, but I have to see if I can get like an off-brand one that's going to be a lot cheaper than $200. I mean, The guy said that he'll install it for $50. But this is the finished product. I mean, I don't know why Subaru didn't just simply, go out to either Pioneer, Alpine, Clarion, because the GPS system on here looks just like the GPS system that I have on my Subaru Outback, without this part, the radio part up here. And it looks just like the 2013 GPS system and 14. So it looks like the GPS is the same, but the radio configuration is weird. How they put the monitor on top and the radio on the bottom, adding all that extra weight to the car, which is 15 pounds. I mean, they could have made the car lighter by eliminating the amp underneath the seat, eliminating the radio that was on there. Just having one unit like this. One solid unit that's a GPS, navigation, Bluetooth, everything all included, and that would have been so much better, So if you do go out and buy, I always tell people, like, if you go out and buy a car and it's possible to get a car like this that doesn't have GPS, that's what you're better off buying. Because, what happens is a lot of these GPS systems that the manufacturers put in, they get old. The car looks dated with it. But I mean, this one looks pretty nice because it's lit up. It looks, it looks like they were trying to give you something, like you were getting something extra in the Limited with the GPS versus the Limited without the GPS, which is virtually the same exact car. You're just not getting a GPS system, which in my opinion, you don't need it. I bet you the radio itself and the GPS would have lasted longer than the radio that I had, and I would have just used my my TomTom or my whatever I got, my Magellan, to use as navigation. And if I need something for a short trip, I use my phone, because like if you go in the mountains somewhere far, you're not going to get GPS. So what they did is they had to install a new camera. A new microphone for the Bluetooth. So the Bluetooth radio works great. I mean, it connected so fast, just like pop. I mean, I turned it on, Bluetooth, picked my phone up, instant connection. With this radio, used to take like forever to connect. I mean, it was just like really a hassle to connect the phone. And the radios without the GPS was even harder, in my opinion, to connect a simple phone. Where I've seen other cars like connect the phones 1, 2, 3. Then I had to go out and buy the GPS antenna, as I showed you. That's where they placed it, right there. And I have a new backup camera, which I'll show you right now. I gotta turn. And that's how it looks. I mean, I'm not crazy about that, looking at my bumper, because with the factory camera, I didn't see my bumper. I'm not really happy with the guy who did all this work. It's not, to me, it's not what I expected. They put the camera on the side and all that stuff. I thought they were going to just put the camera where my stock camera was and not put an additional camera. And it wasn't cheap. The radio was $450, but I had it. I had to buy all these other things, all the other components, the wiring harness, and now I'm without steering wheel controls. But I thought that it was a better deal to eliminate this because it failed, and I don't know if another radio would have failed. I don't know if other people have problems with these radios, so I didn't want to go in that route and buy one, because I bought one in Long Island. For $250, and that would have been the radio plus the install. So it almost cost me that much money to do what I did with this radio, and I gained my compartment, which is great. I mean, this is the way this car should have been originally, and Subaru should have just put a radio like that in. Have a radio that's have the Harman Kardon speakers and all that stuff, and just hook it up to a radio like this. This is 50 amps. I mean, this thing sounds really good. I don't want to turn the radio on because of copyright and all that stuff, and You know, I don't want to have any trouble with that, but it sounds really, really good. Really good. I mean, it sounds real clear. The back speakers aren't as powerful as the front speakers are. So the sound is like really tended to go to the front to the rear. You know what I mean? So I kind of pushed the fader to the rear a little bit, so it's kind of a little more balanced. The subwoofer's in the back. The car has a subwoofer. You know, that's what you get when you buy the Harman Kardon. You know, this is the Harman Kardon system, and it's pretty good. And I mean, that's how it looks. I mean, it looks pretty cool to me.